which is now. So we are live now. That means people that are on Facebook that are interested in LifeWave, people that are on YouTube that are interested in LifeWave will start seeing our broadcast. And what I thought I would do is I would have Wendy probably and David Sunwolf. You two can basically go through and ask some questions maybe and see because we want to hear all your experiences. And then I will be working the controls because I have to moderate. There's only a limit of 10. And then when somebody, finishes, you can still watch it. If there's others that want to come on, that we would have to make room for them. So that's just, the limit right now for this particular platform. But it's a great platform.
It is.
It gives you the opportunity to, let people. And once we're done, it will I will have a link on YouTube, and you can share this with other people so they can see you being interviewed. And, we're all LifeWave here. This is a LifeWave family. I love LifeWave. So Wendy, I'm going to give you you can kind of take over the questions, and you and Sunwolf can kind of moderate, and I'm going to get on the controls here. It's just to make sure everybody can hear and, the audio is working. So take it away.
I have a question. So I'd like to find out who's the newest person on the patches. Like how long?
I don't know. I've been on them since last fall.
Okay.
So we've all been around for several months.
Okay.
Okay. And I just want to thank you all for coming and joining this really neat call. Maybe I could kind of start and share my little story, and then we could go down. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, let's get the show on the road. So I'm very blessed to be here and blessed to have LifeWave in my life. I have always had above average health, taken products for many, many years, decades. Did I ever have a story? No. I never really had a story, but I used other people's story. Now I have a story, which is so cool. I have actually a story. Well, months ago, I had a serious knee infection. It abscessed, cellulitis. I tried everything at home. The big mistake was, why did I wait so long? But it's a great ending. I go to the ortho. He sees my knee. He says, this is not good. It's right near the bone. He put a felt pen around my knee. And he said, we got to watch. So what happened? Me being kind of sensitive, I started to cry. And I started to pray. And I did some Reiki healing, energy healing work. At that time, I just happened to have the X39 patches. Just at that time. Started to use it, just put it right below where the wound was. I go back to the ortho. He says, this is strange. You're out of the danger zone. How could that be? The wound specialist says to me, this is unusual. You must be from another planet. I said, you're right. I am from another planet. I am. Anyways, long story short, the healing was 100% miraculous. At the convention, I danced like no one was watching. So cool. Now, let me just segue very quickly, because with these patches, you could do so many things. It's almost like creating music. There's no one form. I have weak eyes. I get up in the morning, my eyelids feel very heavy. On the computer a lot, all this stuff. So I started to experiment putting X39 and glutathione on the eye. And the next morning, my eyelid did not feel this heaviness like it did. I'm, oh, this is incredible. This is pretty fast. Wow. And it continued to do that. So I am just so thrilled about that. And I have some floaters. I'm sure you know what floaters. So I don't have the kind of floaters I had. Very little. I've always, not too much, but it always bothered me. But my eyes are getting better. Everything is moving. And there we go. So that's my story.
I love it.
That's an awesome story.
Wonderful story.
Awesome story. I'm putting some patches on my eyes.
Exactly.
It really, really is great. So who wants to go next? Should we just go in that order? The Brooks right next to me with that. Wendy, what do you say?
I think that sounds perfect.
Okay,
Good idea.
Brooke, you're on.
Okay, so I didn't have anything in particular, but when David actually told me, I've known David for many, many years. We've gone back from actually an EMF protection company from, it was like early or mid 2005, and we've sort of stayed in touch. Anyway, he happened to have either called me or I can't remember exactly what it was, but he told me about the X39 patches. And I knew about LifeWave from back in 2004, where I had tried them, but I had just found that they were a little bit difficult. I'm in the alternative health industry and I'm actually quite healthy. And anyway, I just was not as engaged as I was until he mentioned that David Schmidt had come up with this new X39 patch that was photobiomodulation, light therapy, and helped to create stem cells in your own body. And I knew a lot about stem cells and was over the moon. First of all, I knew David would only do something highly professional and clinically backed, etc. So without any further ado, my husband jumped on. We both bought patches. We were both completely smitten and have been wearing them. I actually attribute the patches to multiple things. I use them on my dogs. We have 5 German Short-haired pointers. I've used them on my horse. I have a horse as well. You can tell I'm an animal person. I love using them for me. I notice immediately that little aches and pains. I didn't have a dramatic, huge bang, but I feel like everything in my body started to move around and just sort of get better. And I wear them religiously and then put them on my dogs. So whichever dog I feel has a need, and they have benefited tremendously from them as well. I think this is literally the medicine of the future. And I absolutely adore what is going on with LifeWave and the patches. So that's kind of my story.
Beautiful. Great.
Love it.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna have to try it on my dogs too. I haven't done that yet.
We have.
I can tell you for multiple things. I mean, I've used them when they've gotten hurt, which they have, because I live up a mountain. And I also have used them for when they've gotten scratched up underneath from running through fields. And it helps with that. I've gotten for any kind of eczema. Or I also use them. I had one dog who ended up eating an herb and ended up having an epileptic fit. And I used some hemp oil and the patch, and it totally helped him. I thought he was dying, so it was huge.
Wow, that's amazing.
Anyway, so I use them all the time. I mean,
So
all
many
the
ways.
time. Yes, exactly. And I've been hurt.
Wow.
Multiple times and use them on those too.
Fantastic. Great to see you, Brooke.
Oh,
I'd love
you
to
too.
bring on the
Thank
next
you.
wonderful lady. She
Oh,
could have a show just with her sharing all kinds of testimonies. Being a homeopathic doctor, she sees a lot of people. And she has a very neat way in how she brings it to people and the lives she's changing. In fact, she shared an amazing testimony this morning on another call. So Janet, take it away.
Okay. Well, I have to say, being a homeopath, I really believe in stimulating the body into healing itself.
yeah.
And I've seen miracles, obviously, with homeopathy. I've done it for 35 years. But I never found anything else other than these patches that could give you such immediate, miraculous results. And that was the beginning of why I got excited about it. One of the first people whom I helped was someone who came to the house, an older woman who had 2 episodes that had left her not able to walk or talk. And so they, she had therapy for 2 years. She could walk and talk. And I said, well, what is it that you would like to do that you still can't do? And she said, I can't write. I can't get the brain and the hand coordination. I can't write. And I want to be able to write my name, at least sign my name. And her husband was with her. And so I said, well, I'm new to this, but let's try something. And so I took a hat, and inside the hat, I put the energy patches, the brown on the left and the back, and the white on the front and the right side. And I put a carnosine and an X39 patch in the middle of the hat, and we put it on her. And she sat there and we talked for maybe 10 minutes. And then I said, I know it's a little early, but I'm just curious. And I gave her a pad and a pen, and I said, why don't you see what you can do? You try to write. She wrote her name for the first time in 2 years.
Wow.
And her husband was sitting there saying, give me that. Let me look at it.
Wow.
That's
That's
tremendous.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that was like I had seen a few miracles before, because a friend of mine who's a physical therapist had terrible pneumonia, and she was just getting over it, and she had to get back to work. And I sent a patch to her, and she put it on, and immediately her energy started coming back, and she felt great. So she started sending her clients to me. And I saw many, many cases of people who've been in pain for many years, like within 10, 15 minutes, getting better. So I really, I was on this. I was excited. And then I actually saw someone who had a cracked rib, a friend of mine. And I'd given her some remedies that always worked on things like that, got people out of pain, but she was still in pain. So I said, let's put an X39 on it. Let's see what happened. And within 10 minutes, her pain from her cracked rib was gone. So that was really impressive for me to see that. Another client of mine had been using them and really liked them. And one day her husband said, what is that stuff for anyway? And she said, well, it helps to heal, and it's balancing my body and all of that. And he said, well, I have this knuckle that's really swollen. And in fact, he had gone to the doctor, and they were talking about sending him to another doctor for a knuckle replacement. I'd never even heard of a knuckle replacement. Anyway, it was all swollen and just deformed. So he put the patch on. And the next morning, he had no pain. And he's been wearing them ever since. So that was another exciting, adventurous thing. I have 2 new friends who are coming to town who have started dental practices here. And I talked to each one of them, and I said, well, do you happen to have any pain? Because we were talking about stem cells. And one of them said, yes, I had a knee injury a year ago. I had to be in a brace and couldn't really move my leg very well. And finally I got out of it, and I had months of physical therapy. She said, but I still have pain 24/7 in my knee. So I gave her a patch right then. I carry them in my purse. And I said, try it. Let's see what happens. I didn't expect that within 10 minutes she was out of pain.
Wow.
And the next morning she texted me and she said, in the morning I get up and I usually go down the steps 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot, like a 2-year-old. And she said, but this morning I didn't even think about it. I got out of bed and I just scampered down the steps. So it's just been so amazing. I do want to say that I have a neighbor who took out a bank loan of $10,000 to get his knees injected with stem cells. And after 2 months, he was still on crutches. He wasn't any better. And I had just discovered the patches at that point. So I told him he had to try them, and he started using them. And within 2 weeks, he was off of crutches.
Wow.
So what I say to people is, if you want to get a shot, that's fine. They're expensive, but it's a one-shot deal. And when those stem cells that go in eventually die, you won't have them anymore. You'll have to do more. But these patches are a lifetime of stem cells.
Mm.
And they just keep multiplying, and they're there for you if you have an injury, if you have to have surgery, or if you just want to look younger and feel better. You can have new stem cells every single day. So I'll end with that. I've got a bunch of stories, but I'm just so grateful to have found these patches and to
What a
see the
great share.
miracle.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow.
That was really great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I started
That was impressive.
Great testimonies.
really good. Well, David called me back in was in August, the end of August, and started telling me about the stem cells. And I said, David, you don't have to sell me on it. I've been watching stem cell research for a long time.
Yeah.
So I signed up right away, and I was leaving for Japan in a few days. So I spent a month in Japan and never got the product before I left. So I was just talking to people on the ship and things like that about them. But when I got home, I started taking them on the 1st of October. And my pain level, I have severe arthritis in my back and my hip and my knee. And I started taking the product. Within 3 days, my pain went from a 10 down to about a 2. So it was manageable without any drugs. I don't take drugs because I was I had a gout problem, and I was taking an anti-inflammatory for the gout, and it knocked out my kidneys. So my kidney function was down to 20, and the minimum should be 60. So it gives you an idea of where the kidney was. And after taking the product for 2 months, my kidney function went from 20 to 26. That's major. So I
Wow.
was pretty excited about that. So I've just been using the product. My hair stopped falling out. I've got more energy. I just can't say enough about it. I really enjoy the company, the product, everything about it, and the people that it attracts are amazing. So that's my story.
Beautiful. What a great
Lovely.
I
share.
love it. Thank you.
Well, this couple is a very interesting, amazing couple. You would never guess how many years young, but boy, oh boy, what story. So go ahead, Gayla and Barry.
Who should go
Gord.
Well, you had the most.
That's
Barry
true.
has a long list of things that happened. And by the way, I'm going to be, let me see if I get closer here. I'm going to be 80 in a few weeks in August.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want to be like you when I grow up.
Yeah.
Well, you'll catch up pretty soon.
Okay.
I'll catch up like a lady like this. Oh, mamma mia.
So I actually didn't have any symptoms to disappear. So I was using Barry's testimonial for 10 weeks. And then one day I was at my computer and I looked down, and the glasses that I had between my keyboard and my screen that I always picked up to put on my face to use the computer, I looked at them, I went, I haven't picked these up for 3 days. So I picked them up and put them on, and the screen was all blurry. And I took them off, and it's crystal clear. So
Wow.
kind of amazing. Prescription glasses, no more. And that was wonderful. And my hair stopped falling out too. I've got a lot of hair. See, and but it was coming out in fistfuls, and it's not coming out anymore. So that's my story. But Barry's is much more deep. I mean, more symptoms. He had more going on. He had more going on. Oh, wait a minute. One more thing. I also want to say that love this business. I've been with lots of companies. Started with network marketing with Nova Nutritional Products in 1977, Dr. Bernard Jensen. And I've been with many companies, many, more than 20. More than 30, actually. And some of them, they've all been good companies that I've, loved and trusted, and they've had great products and all of that. But in all my experience, I've never met such a heart-based company And think about what we're selling. Actually, we're selling a person's own light, the reflection of their own light, a way to reflect their own light. What could be more incredible and timely? And I'm just thrilled. It's so easy because, like somebody said, they've been studying stem cells. So many people already knew and wished they could have stem cells, but there was always that and huge cost. And always, and for me, it would be like, ooh, needles. I hate needles. And so it was out of the question. And now, without invasion, without big cost, less than a cup of coffee. I mean, what could be better? And we've been signing up a preferred customer every day for the last week.
Oh, sometimes two.
Sometimes two.
That's great. Bravo.
It's been a lot of fun. We're just loving it. And we signed up a diamond.
Well, we're throwing a few diamonds in here and there.
Yeah, we've got a few diamonds going too.
Diamonds in the rough.
you.
Right now, we're diamonds in the rough.
That's great. So Barry, your story.
Good.
Okay. Well, I've been involved in alternative natural healing since 1970.
Oh, and you're a homeopathist.
I am a homeopathist.
And a biophysicist.
Yeah, I'm a biophysicist. She's reminding me. Even though the past brought my memory back. So, and I do all kinds of healing. We're both feng shui masters. I have a school in New York for shamanic studies. We stopped it.
You're certified in?
Yeah, many things, infrared treatment, this is infrared. So I wasn't really expecting anything. We got into this because a friend of ours was scheduled for a knee operation. Someone gave him a patch and he canceled the operation. So we thought, well, let's try it. And I wasn't even thinking about my symptoms really when I tried it. But I noticed better sleep right away. And then I actually had a reaction the second week. And that reaction cleared my guts in a way that all the inflammation went out and I lost my belly. And it was the first time in my whole life I have not had a belly. Even though I was a jock. I played football in high school and college. I was a Navy diver. All kinds of things. I was really athletic. Always had a belly. I went in India. I went from 180 to 93 pounds. I had a belly. It was gone. Just miraculous. So, but that wasn't the end. I also have had shingles off and on. And I had an attack about a year and a half ago, and I kept having little attacks, and it's gone now. And it's the patch. So, I mean, that's pretty major, I think.
And after 3 weeks of our trees being in bloom, I said,
true.
Barry, you haven't been sneezing. Wow. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because the X39 took away my pollen allergies in like March and April. But then in June, we got huge winds here, and I started sneezing from the dust. I put on a glutathione patch, and the sneezing just stopped like that.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Yeah, just amazing. The biggest thing, though, is I had concussions from playing football in high school and college. And I also had a lack of oxygen at one point where I drowned as a Navy diver in Vietnam. So, and that started to show up about 2 or 3 years ago. And about 4 or 5 months ago, it was getting serious. I was having cognitive problems. People were noticing. On the patch, all of a sudden, I came back. And so, with the COVID, I wasn't seeing a lot of friends, right? Then after a couple of months, I started seeing them. And what was one of the first things they would say is, wow, your brain is working better. They really know. And we had that study, where 100% of the participants had a resolution to brain inflammation, and no study ever gets 100%. Only in 3 weeks, right? That's impossible. But it happened. So is that my whole? That's my whole story. Pretty much. That's pretty. I mean, there's other little things that have happened, but that's the big thing.
We'll need a show just for you as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my dog.
Oh, yeah, right.
We also have
you
a
just saw in the picture. He's over there now.
Yeah.
But you saw him a little bit ago. He has a collapsed trachea that happened to him for dental work about 4 years ago. and he was coughing incessantly, day and night, coughing. And I take my patch off me and put it on him, and he's not coughing. You can hear it's a quiet house. Listen. See? No coughing.
And he's right there.
And he's right here. It's amazing. It's so wonderful. It's so great. It's such a relief.
And we never expected to do this as a business, actually.
But we're having so much fun.
Yeah, because everybody we mentioned it to, when you say stem cells, when you say endogenous stem cells or glutathione or anything affordable, all of a sudden people go, what? Tell me about it.
It's wonderful. We love it.
Yeah.
That is such a great share, and I could certainly relate to you because it's perfect timing. It's in the news, people hear about it, and you don't have to take anything orally. It's it's not transdermal. It's a beautiful thing. Now, Audrey Mostert is next. She I have known the longest. Actually, it's close. Mary, Nelson, and Audrey, I've known you for decades, and I was in their organization years ago. And her beloved Clarence is a master kinesiologist. Oh. And he also has had some great testimonies. So Audrey, it's great to see you. Do share. Are you on mute?
Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you. Am I on mute?
No, you're good.
No, you're okay.
Can you hear? I'm okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, like David was saying, we've been in the health field since the 1960s, 1970s, because I am 6. And last October, Mary sent us an email about stem cells. So my husband says, oh, we need to look into this. So we got them, and he put them on, and he had results right away. And I said, well, how about me? Anyway, just to tell you his story, I'd like to tell his story first, is he's had, the doctor said, a hip problem. And in the early 60s, one said, well, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. And he's been to every specialist, every sports, UBC, you name it. And the last time he went, Langley, and he was actually a Chinese doctor, he says, it's not your hip at all. Your hip is great. He says, it's your tendons and your ligaments. He says, well, I've been saying that for years. Anyway, he put the patch on. 3 days later, because he's been in pain all these years, and a lot of pain, limping, he had 60% less pain. In a week, no more pain. And he said, it's even hard for me to walk normal again. He says, I have to learn that all over. It was just amazing. And of course, we've been in the health field for years. And I said, I hadn't noticed much difference. But with me, it was internal. And it's a little embarrassing. But anyway, I had gone to the washroom. And you won't believe how bad it smelled. It was so bad. I never smell. But after the patches, I sure did.
Yeah.
So I tell people too, you may not see results right away, but your body has its own wisdom. So it'll work where it needs to work first. And with my husband, it was on his hip. With me, it was internally. I also was in a car accident. I ended up in a ditch and I broke my kneecap. So I have quite 2 scars. I have a small one and a real big one. And the small one's gone. The other one was red and quite wide. And now I think in about a month it might be gone too. So that's quite exciting for me. And my hair is better. I sleep better and I've got a lot of energy because I have to do a lot of work. We've got a big place, so there's a lot of work to do. And even my daughter said, Mom, where'd you get all your energy? I says, well, go on the X39. You'll have the same results. So I'll make it short and sweet. I got a lot of stories from other people, but that's my story.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Wow. Of course, Brenda. Brenda's very much into health, superfoods, all kinds of neat stuff. Very connected, and we met on Facebook. And Great to see you here. Just share your story.
Well, you called me at the end of August. I was really busy and you wanted me to look at this. And I said, I don't have time. I'm busy. And you said the word stem cells. And I'm like,
There we go.
I can't get rid of him.
Thank God for stem cells.
I can't just blow him off. I said, I have been taking a stem cell supplement for years. So I understood what, having good stem cells can do for your body. So I had to keep asking more, and so it took me 2 weeks to do my due diligence. And because I'm an investigator, I don't just believe anybody. So I couldn't find anything wrong. And the more I investigated, the more impressed I was. So I decided to order them, and I figured, yeah, get my money back. There's a money back guarantee. There's no risk. This is crazy. Why wouldn't I at least try it? I've tried other things and they didn't work. So probably the first night, I probably went really deep, hard sleep. And I didn't have a lot of issues that I thought needed work on. You know what I mean? But I was just surprised at how deep my sleep was. And then sometimes I'm too late on the computer on my cell phone. When I go to bed, because of that blue light, I'm not ready to go to sleep. And once I started wearing the X39, I was going right to sleep. And previous to that, I'd use essential oil or whatever. I wasn't needing any of that stuff anymore. So that was kind of impressive for me. And I had a back injury when I was 15 when I fell off a horse. So I've been in pain for years, at different levels, not major, but it's kind of there sometimes. And certain supplements, I was able to keep cooking and just by using the X39, I didn't need them anymore. Essential oils that I used to put on every day, I didn't need to use them anymore. The patch was kind of doing a lot of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And, I noticed more energy, less naps. I could stay up later. I was more focused on tasks. And then when I added the Eon in later, I mean, man, that really mellows you out. You know what I mean? Like nothing bothers you. Everybody can be after you for all kinds of stuff. Do this, do that. You're just like, okay, next. So I can line dance longer. My back doesn't hurt as much.
Awesome.
And the recovery time afterwards, previous to the patches, sometimes I'd have to come home and just kind of sit there or maybe take a nap because I was in so much pain. But now I can go shopping afterwards and just keep going, and I'm not having to take that nap or dying. So
Awesome.
that's where I'm at.
Fabulous.
That's
so
great.
interesting.
That's amazing.
Interesting stories. Go ahead, Barry. You've got your finger
I
up.
just remembered one. So I haven't been able to run for about 8 years because if I ran about 40, 50 yards, my knees would start hurting. And I one day we were just out walking around the lake, and I said to Gayla, I'm going to try running. I just started running. I ran maybe a quarter mile, which, I hadn't run in 8 years, so I was getting tired at a quarter mile, but there was no pain. I went and walked, and then I ran back. No pain. I can run now. I have no pain in my knees.
It never ceases to amaze me how much of a miracle the body is. It just needs an opportunity. We are electrical before we're biological. If we only knew that this is a testament to what we have with LifeWave in giving that body that great chance. And it's almost, I almost look at it as a conductor. This is just coming into my mind. It's like a conductor that really makes sure all your organs, glands, and all the things are working in sync and in balance. So you have that right tuning mechanism. And when that tuning is balanced, everything happens so wonderfully and so magically and so naturally. So it's like the conductor is just playing well when we've got these patches. So thank you, all of you, and thank you, LifeWave. So Wendy, go ahead, John.
Okay. I forgot something that happened to me. I take all these things so for granted after a while, but a few months ago, I had a brown spot appear on my shoulder. And I thought of it, right? But the next day, I looked at the brown spot, and it was rising a little bit. And I thought, that's pretty weird. I've never seen that before. And then the next couple days, it went up, up, up until it was about 1/4 of an inch. And I'd never seen anything go up that fast, right? So we're in the middle of the COVID lockdown. I can't exactly go and check for, with a dermatologist or anything. So I thought, well, I guess I'll just slap an X39 on it and see what happens. And I put it on every night, and every morning I woke up and it was down more and down more and down more until not only did it go all the way flat, but the complete brown spot disappeared.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Wow, yeah, that could have been a tumor.
Wow. Thank you. Fantastic. So Wendy, here we are.
Well, first of all, I want to say I am so glad I got to meet all of you guys, because you guys are just amazing, and I love to hear the stories. And it's cool to hear everybody else's story of what the patches have done for them, because for me, I've noticed almost completely different things than you guys, and it's just really neat to see how many different things it can help with. I think I can't remember which one of you guys said that the first thing you noticed was the sleep, and within the first night, that was the first thing that I noticed was I used to have a really hard time falling asleep, feeling relaxed, and I fell asleep really relaxed, and I slept really deep and felt really refreshed the next morning. That was the very first thing I noticed. And then I also noticed just a clearer mind, clearer thinking, less anxiety. I think the second or third day I was on them, I was getting on a flight to go to Mexico, and I normally panic and I have to take lorazepam to be on an airplane because I get scared of turbulence and crashing and all that. And I didn't get nervous the whole trip. Actually, my husband was sitting next to me, and at the end of the trip, he was like, "What is up with you? This is the first time you've ever been on a plane that you have not looked at me frightened every 5 seconds." And I was like, I didn't know, but then I thought about it, and I was like, I bet it's the patches, because I didn't know at the time, but now I know, because I'm way calmer, and it's helped my mental clarity, my thinking. I've always had issues where I told Joseph this, I work really, really hard and don't accomplish much sometimes because I run in circles. But I'm very, it's helped me be very specific about what I get up and do, and I can get more done in less time. And I've shared this with these patches with my daughter and a couple of her friends, that it's helped them with their anxiety. So I know it's definitely really helps with anxiety and mental issues as well. But I've also noticed scarring. I've had a few scars from her getting hurt, and it's taking away you could still tell there's a scar there because the discoloration, but it's helping the texture, the thickness of actually some really old scars.
Very interesting. That usually
Yeah. Scars from over 20, 25, 30 years ago. So, so I also, I'm the person who loves to sleep. I love to sleep because I just don't normally have the energy to get up in the morning, and I look forward to getting up, and I don't sleep in anymore. And I actually, sometimes I'll look at my clock and it's oh man, it's only 4. It's I might want to get up now because I have all this stuff I want to do. And it's helping me perform at my job way better than I ever have before. It's helping me with relationships with people I know. So mine is just a completely different aspect of what you guys are noticing. But I love hearing all of these stories because I think the possibilities with this are limitless. I think it's whatever your body needs to heal is where it's going to help you. And everybody's different. Exactly. So it's a product that isn't specific for one thing. it's for everything, you know, anything you need help with almost.
Beautiful.
So I can't wait to share it with more people.
That's great. Here we are,
Yeah,
40 minutes in.
Yeah, that really, I mean, you all have had amazing results. And one of the things that I love about the technology, thanks to David Schmidt and how he's just continued to improve over the years. I mean, here we are, 2020, and who would have thought, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, that we would be having these types of, I mean, it's almost miraculous results. I mean, when people hear, I mean, all the stories here, I mean, I've had some decent stories myself, but the enhancement or the optimizing of our bodies, what we were created and designed to do, that seems where I'm in that direction now, because I know as we age, we see less and less stem cell regenerative properties. But now I'm going to hit the younger generation and say, guess what, guys? How would you like to enhance your performance today? Like they don't know what they're capable of until they can enhance themselves. And even in a 20-year-old, 25, 30-year-old can have enhanced abilities and enhanced capabilities. And so that I just saw an NFL player wearing a patch, an NFL player, I forget what team he was with, wearing a patch, and somebody was circulating it. I forget who I saw it on Facebook, but so there you go. If you can enhance a 20-year-old as well as a 90 or 100-year-old, then it fits everybody in between. And that's what I realized. COVID-19 is not prejudge anybody. COVID just goes and the virus hits everybody, rich, poor, young, old, it doesn't care. And I said to Wendy, my business partner here, I said, Wendy, what if we just start thinking like that virus, except in a positive way? Just tell everybody about it. Let's not prejudge people. Let's not say, oh, they might not want it or this. It doesn't matter. We just have to show love to everybody, right? And that's what I was telling David. I said, man, this can just hit. There's no language barriers here. I mean, I think we translated it in probably more languages than I think any other company I've ever been with. So I'm excited, and I'm grateful, that you all could be here and share your stories, man. It's really a sharing of love. It's kind of like we all have that love that connects us. And I would love to hopefully meet some of you, when we get to the next convention, if we can ever get past this social distancing. That would be great.
Well, I want to first of all thank you, Joseph, for being a catalyst for making this happen. You're caring, you're loving, like this. There's no borders with you. We're all one family. We're all brothers and sisters under one roof, the sky. And the way you've welcomed me and you kind of being part of my biweekly call and the friendship that we've cultivated and how we met. How did we met? Actually, it's usually me that takes the initiative, but you actually reached out to me, right?
That's
on
right.
Facebook. And you never know. You never know. And here we become friends, and he came close to actually visiting me and seeing my horses. Maybe we would have gone for a ride.
I'll be back. I'll be back sooner than you think.
So I want to thank you, and I want to thank everyone on the call, taking your time and sharing your stories, because, stories, sell, facts tell. And it's all about the story. And there's so many. And I've never been with a company that had so many stories. On a daily basis, I hear stories. It's just incredible. So again, thank you, and blessings. It's been wonderful.
Thank you all. It's great to meet everybody.
Super awesome to meet everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Okay, blessings. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It's off.
I know.
Mhm.
It's pretty though.